Mike McDaniel spoke to the media before practice and touched on a lot of different things with a lot of different players. There was some good, there was some bad. I'm always trying to be the positive guy, but let's get the bad stuff out of the way. Let's hear what Mike McDaniel had to say that maybe wasn't quote unquote bad, but we know not really good. And when you think bad on this team, you think secondary, Vlad. You think cornerbacks. And when you think maybe the worst of the worst, and I'm not trying to pile on too much, although I'm absolutely piling on, one Cam Smith, we keep hearing we're not going to hold his hand. He needs to be available. He needs to work hard. Mike McDaniel echoed those sentiments about Cam Smith once again today.
This is the story that is we're all awaiting his ability to stay on the field. So, every time that there's a setback, we're trying to assess, but we got to stay on the field to continue to develop. I like the stuff that he's doing in his development when he's on the field.
Could he be back soon, do you think, or is it something serious?
No, it's sooner than later. I'm hoping the sooner the better. But yeah, it's days, not weeks.
Mike, okay, Vlad, we've learned this now. Mike McDaniel, when he's succinct, he's not happy. That was a very succinct, very thought out answer. And I'm telling you now, Cam Smith is not going to be a big part of this team. We have reason to believe.
Isn't that
I know the Mike McDaniel's son's best friend or something like that.
Mike, what's it? Chris Greer's son?
Chris Greer, that's what I meant. Chris Greer.
Okay.
I can't say it enough. Cam Smith has just so not even underwhelmed, so disappointed everyone on this team.
That is,
and he's in the position to be the most needed. And he has to look and say, "This is my opportunity to not just play on this team, but to start on this team,
to be a integral part of this team."
You were a second-round pick, first year. Boohoo, Vic Fangio, old man Fangio didn't like rookies, didn't like you, didn't let you play. Last year you had hamstring problems. This year now it's a combination of injury and maybe it's just a combination of setbacks that. But even Mike McDaniel has not given us any positive. Well, I like what he does when he's out there, but he just simply needs to be out there. Meaning, not much. Ugh. So Cam Smith, please, I'm asking you as a Dolphins fan. Hopefully you're pleasantly surprised, but right now, don't hold your breath. I would not expect him to be a major, integral part of this defense. Austin Jackson, we're going to need him to be a major part of the offensive line. We have found out he's going through a little bit of an injury. Someone stepped on his toe.
Toe.
Gotta watch your toes in these practices. Mike McDaniel talked about Austin Jackson and kind of the timeline on his return to the team.
He got the injury playing football, got stepped on. Has nothing to do with anything but that. And with Austin, the bottom line for me, where he's at, out of all the guys, I would say, he had a time off. He knocked some rust off. He got back and, in my opinion, exceeded where he was playing before. So we're fortunate that, that timetable doesn't seem to be into the regular season.
So Mike McDaniel right there telling you Austin Jackson doing great things, got stepped on, nothing to really cry about, nothing to really worry about. I'm hoping he is absolutely right about that. Very excited to have him back, hopefully week 1 of the season. Nonetheless, I'm hoping it's precautionary, Vlad. He didn't say anything to that effect, but I'm hoping it's more precautionary to keep him out. But you bring up a good point. The offensive line is about gelling. It's about coming together. And with Austin Jackson out in some way, shape, or form, I don't know how much he would have played in the preseason games. It does cause some concern that week 1, to his blind side, may not be at 100%.
Nope.
That's simple.
And you forget about that. You forget he's lefty.
Yeah.
So we're always thinking about Patrick Paul. We're like, oh yeah, we got to get Patrick Paul. And it's like, no, the most important offensive lineman for 2 is the right tackle, which is Austin Jackson. And you hope that Austin, it's not a severe injury. Hope that's what they say, but he is also coming back from an injury last year that took him out for most of the season.
Yeah, exactly. But luckily it's the toe and it's not the knee that took him out for most of last season. At least that's what they're telling us right now. They don't have to really reveal anything about injuries in the preseason. And coaches wisely don't. Actually, Mike McDaniel's more forthcoming than some coaches. I know when Sean Payton was with the Saints, straight up would just say, I'm not talking about it. I don't have to, I won't. And that was the end of the conversation.
That's right.
So Mike McDaniel is actually being a little more forthcoming and letting you, maybe relieving some of your tensions that it's his toe, somebody stepped on him, it was a football play, he'll be okay. Tyreek Hill recently during a press conference said he wouldn't mind taking the reins from Devon Achane when it comes to short yardage situations. Mike McDaniel, he wanted to talk about Tyreek Hill wanting to go into those short yard situations.
I thought it was genius reporting by Tyreek, seeing how we had a short yardage period that very day that you guys were in attendance for, and his suggestion was, I guess, congruent with Coach Studesville. That's exactly how we repped the backs in that short yardage period that very day. But we thought it was funny that he reported the news that wasn't news on that practice day in that short yardage period that you guys were all there too for.
So I don't get it.
Tyreek Hill
Am I
saying,
supposed to laugh at that, or am I supposed to be okay? He's still continuing.
he's trolling and
He's
acting
trolling
silly.
and acting silly, and I thought this was the things that we were trying to see less of this season.
Right, the silliness, the trolling.
So what is this about? Like
Mike McDaniel didn't sound exactly happy now that you mentioned it. He's kind of like,
I'm trying to figure it out, Playboy. Like literally, I'm like, is he saying, yeah, he's just trolling, or is it like, yeah, he's trolling? I hope he would not do that.
I think you're starting to hear the people are saying Tyreek Hill. We're getting tired of all this nonsense,
bro. That's what I took.
I think there's probably even been a talk of like, let's cut out the silliness and let's get to the game. You know, like fun is fun, but yeah, he's like, I'm glad he reported something that's not true, and
or maybe something that wasn't supposed to be reported.
Right. Either way, that's not good. Either way, Tyreek Hill. Now, one of the guys that has been a star of these first 10 practices, if you can be a star once again from camp, has been one Willie Gay Jr. Won a couple of championships, Super Bowls with the Kansas City Chiefs. Went over to New Orleans last year. He said it was a clown show. I understand what he means. He says this year the Dolphins, they're going to be a team. They're going to be working hard. They say every day in practice, Willie Gay Jr. makes a play at the linebacker position. Mike McDaniel echoing how good Willie Gay Jr. has been so far for the Dolphins.
He's magnetic. You can feel his presence inside the building. And he was a fast friend for a lot of the guys in the locker room. But what has jumped off is that his energy isn't, a one-off thing. He brings that every day. It's a pillar of who he is as a person as we get to really get to know him. So what does that mean? Anytime there's a tip or an overthrow, he's a potential takeaway guy. He is around the ball, and he is challenging both the people in his position group and the offense. So that, I think he's a guy that has shown up every day, and I think that's who he is, and we're happy to have him on the team.
I like what Mike McDaniel's saying there. It's kind of like what the attitude and the culture that the Dolphins are trying to bring in very skilled guys that have this attitude that's good, that works hard. And of course, you bring in a true professional, Willie Gay Jr., a guy who has won some Super Bowls with Kansas City. He kind of took a vacation last year with the Saints, but, we all understand how that goes. And then he's here, coming in, working hard. Mike McDaniel singing the praises of Willie Gay Jr. I know, Vlad, you're not 100% sold on him, and I can understand that. It's only day 10 of camp, but he is the type of character guy, the type of skill guy, the type of veteran that we need for this team.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely need leaders after you lost a lot of your leaders last year with Calais, and at least on the defensive end with Calais. Willie Gay, you got a guy with postseason success. He's a Super Bowl champion, and probably can speak Anthony Weaver's language on defense,
right,
more so.
Another thing
you also need a guy. You also needed depth in the linebacker position, because who's your best linebacker last? Was it Baker?
Yeah. Jerome Baker.
And he was hurt, right, for most of the season? Or was that the year before?
That was the year before with Jerome Baker.
But he wasn't the same Jerome Baker from
seasons ago. I don't think he was on the team last year, Jerome Baker.
He wasn't?
No.
Who was the linebacker last year?
The linebacker.
Oh, you know what? I was thinking about Baker in the 23 season. Last year's linebackers was 20 in the 24 season. Weren't that great. They weren't.
We got Willie Gay Jr. The thing about Willie Gay Jr. that I like is, and this is saying, he played for the Kansas City Chiefs and won some Super Bowls. He knows how it's supposed to be on a team, because Kansas City runs a team the right way. He kind of has that. He brings that attitude. You look excited. You get excited for that. Now, back to the secondary. We started with the bad. Now let's go to the good when it comes to cornerbacks. Cam Smith, the bad. Hopefully, the good will be second-year veteran Storm Duck Mike McDaniel singing his praises, saying that he's gaining some confidence going up against the likes of Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill.
Waddle and Reek recognize from an authentic perspective some real game in Storm. And I think it's easy to project if I'm Storm Duck that don't be a fool. That should give you some confidence. We were talking about it yesterday specifically with some nuances of his game. He's super consistent, really physical for an athletic corner, and doesn't shy away from any sort of reroute contact. Is actually forced that way, and is competitive each and every day. So it tells me a lot. You gather a lot of information, sometimes just listening, and these they invest time into Storm because they believe in Storm and know he can help us win.
Yeah. That's the happy Mike McDaniel I like to hear, saying a whole lot of nothing with a whole lot of words.
Let me say this. I'm looking at the team.
You need Storm Duck.
You definitely Storm Duck. And I give him credit. At least he's the one who's stepping up and speaking and wanting to take on that challenge. But your back sevens.
Got Minka Fitzpatrick?
Because, you got Minka. Last year's linebackers, David Long was the team captain. He was later on cut in the season. Jordan Brooks, he's signed from Seattle.
Good.
Duke Riley,
he's a backup.
Anthony Walker Jr. was he's good, mediocre at best, I think. Cameron Good, Channing Tindall,
third round pick,
and then Shaq Barrett never played.
Yeah, Shaq Barrett had the issues,
and then Bradley Chubb and Jalen Phillips, who are listed as outside linebackers, they got banged up. So, yeah. You needed to bring a Willie Gay.
You need to bring in Willie. Yeah, Willie. I like his professionalism.
You needed to bring in a Willie Gay because not only you need to bring Willie Gay to add some leadership and experience in that linebacker position, but you also need somebody who's going to calm the defense down if the secondary is acting up. I know you because there's going to be a lot that's going to be put on the secondary. The cornerbacks are going to be. There's no pressure by that front seven or the front four. Let's say front four. If there's no pressure by the front four, that secondary is going to be under tremendous pressure, and they're going to have to come through.
Zach Sealer, Kenneth Grant, Bradley Chubb, Jalen Phillips, Benito Jones. We need you to get to the quarterback quick.
And Jalen Phillips not hurt, is he?
Well, he got a leg whip